Hey y'all, we are back with another dense update. This update is sponsored by Biomax Peptides. Here we go. 26.1 athletes have been announced. Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper, Colton Merrens, and Austin Hatfield will face off at Moffett Federal Airfield.
The CrossFit Games Open starts now.
Hopper is the fittest man on earth.
570 pounds. So impressive by Colton Merrens.
Dallin Pepper
trying to keep pace.
Selfishly, I was really hoping that Colton and some of these guys would be at the 26.3 announcement at Miami Wadapalooza since I'm going to be there, but that's okay. This is a great way to start the Open. Colton actually talked about this a little on the CrossFit Games update show.
Colton, you're going to win the Open this year or what?
I mean, probably, yeah.
No. There's this crazy athlete that's registered for the Open. First name Wajma. And I'm not really sure what the last name is.
Wajma? So that is definitely going to be exciting. I cannot wait for that. And speaking of the Open, I noticed that Noah Olson is signed up and he is now a Masters athlete in the 35 to 39-year-old division. So I wonder if he is going to make a run at the Masters Games this year. Haley Adams just announced that she is now a Red Bull athlete. She put out a short little promo on her YouTube channel.
Competitive fitness athlete. I realized when I was about 15 years old that...
But then Red Bull also has other athletes that you're just kind of, huh?
Oh, Luke Jukic is a Red Bull athlete?
That is crazy.
He sucks. Hey, clip that and can send it to him. You won't even call him to kill Taylor. You suck.
I think Haley's a good investment. The others, I don't have any issues with Laura, although I think she's washed.
WFP released another statement of signed pros. So we have 11 men in total, but 0 women. And on this list, I noticed Nick Matthews, Colin Bosshart, Luka Jukic, who all sat outside of the top 20 after the end of the season. The Barbell Spin posted to Instagram, James Sprague and Roman Krennikov will be the only 2 athletes who finished in the top 9 at the 2025 CrossFit Games who are in fact doing the World Fitness Project season. So we already knew Hopper, Pepper, and Medeiros were out. We knew Hatfield was out. Now Ricky Garrard, Jeff Adler, and the deadline for those athletes to accept their contracts was a few days ago. And on the Talking Elite Fitness with Tommy, Shawnee, and Lauren, they talked about this a little bit, and Tommy completely downplays it.
But I believe Justin Medeiros, Dallin Pepper, Ricky Garrard, I think Jeff Adler have all declined. I believe those are the male declines. A lot of it kind of boiled down to the same stuff, volume of the year. I know a lot of athletes were pretty beat up and just kind of made a decision for this year to be hyper focused on a few things.
It's fine. We expected, some of these athletes to prioritize the game season over World Fitness Project. It's crazy how the energy and the narrative changes with these people overnight. They also had Lucy Campbell on, and she too is not doing the World Fitness Project this season. I really like Lucy Campbell. Life has been a little chaotic for Lucy lately. She's moving. She's still coaching in 2 different places. And I think she said she's moving like an hour and a half away from where she currently lives. She talks about, getting used to all the things that you get used to when you first move in with someone. What temperature do we keep the house at? Whose pots and pans are we keeping? That sort of thing. I really enjoyed that. So if you have not seen it, you can check that out on Talking Elite Fitness's YouTube channel. Also on the Games Update show.
I wanted to comment. So Hiller put up the man test that Josh said, and I'm like, I beat that guy boxing. Like, how does he have to say who's a man or not?
Heppner is a funny guy. Colton had mentioned how he learned that he got the Open announcement this year.
Colton, how did you find out you're doing the Open? What happens?
You get an email from, I think, Becky and some other CrossFit HQ people on there, and they ask you if you'd be interested in doing the Open. And they don't tell you which one you would be doing yet. They just kind of want to know, if you're interested. And then they say yes. Okay, cool, sign an NDA, and you sign that. Then they send you over what weekend they want you to do, and you sign the contract. And then that's that. I didn't find out who I was going against until they made that post.
He also states that he is signed for the World Fitness Project season. However, the first stop is just a couple of weeks after the Mayhem Classic. So there may be a conflict there. If he were to not qualify for the CrossFit Games through the Mayhem Classic, then he's looking at potentially another semifinal and then possibly even the online semifinal, which again would be a lot of competing leading up to the CrossFit Games when you throw in that other World Fitness Project tour stop as well. I believe I saw he did accept an invite to Syndicate as a backup. Also on that show, they talk about Fisa being out of the CrossFit Games season. She announced to her Instagram page. In her post, she writes, "I hate having to share this, but I will be pivoting more than expected this year. Due to a current shoulder injury, I will not compete in the 2026 CrossFit Games season. Here's a full update." And there's a few slides kind of explaining what happened. She had strained her shoulder back in October. She kept competing through it, but by late November, things progressively got worse. She says this will be her first season in 7 seasons that she hasn't tried to make it back to the CrossFit Games. The guys also talked about Patrick Melner and his heart ablation.
I just find the story, unbelievable. And kind of the way he presents it so casual, like he doesn't see the irony in all of this or the connection is mind-boggling to me. And where's the transparency from the athletes? And once again,
It is interesting that he found out in 24 during the Open that he had this issue and he chose to conceal it, not correct it, go through the complete 2024 and 2025 season. And only now is he bringing this up. On Kill Taylor Saturday, Ariel Lowen called in to take a shot at the $2,500.
Pretty flawless performance by Ariel.
Yeah.
6.
She's moving great.
And Ariel puts up an impressive time.
Stop all over that winter sleeve, baby!
Goodness gracious.
I don't think that guy ever met a camera he didn't like.
Do you think it will be tough or no? You think you got in the bag?
No, it's going to be really hard, Dylan. You guys might take home that $2,500.
Wow, that sounds so fake.
I think so too.
So this next weekend, Taylor will take on that workout and try to beat Ariel's time to keep the $2,500 rolling on to the next week. What would actually be kind of funny is if they have Ariel come back on next weekend so that she can be on commentary while Taylor has to do the workout. And finally, Will Morad posted to his story over the weekend that he was traveling to Cookeville to do a podcast with Rich Froning.
What's up, y'all? I'm heading to Cookeville this morning to do the pod with Rich and the boys. We're going to cover WFP. I'm sure we're going to cover the Classic a little bit and maybe some old stories when me and Rich were throwing down in the glory days. So anything else you want to know?
I wonder if he'll talk about...
I did just get a text from Will Morad.
Well, I think now that he's not with his wife, he's able to express his true